Okay, so let me introduce you to one of those people. Anne Scottlin has been a member now for, I think I'm getting over 2 years. And if you don't know anything about Anne, she has she's been on our podcast, Human Being Hidden Depths. And you can go and have a look at that. And she's telling her life story, which is amazing. And she's also done a Connect to Me slot, which is what we have later on in the session, where she tells of her journey and how she's, grown up in one direction and then she's hit Hollywood in another direction. And the extremes of her life are fascinating because of who she is now. It's just inspiring to see that whatever's going on in your life, you can have a mindset like Anne that's going to be out there to make a difference to people. So she has now pivoted part of her business because she's so successful at podcasts, she thought she'd share that with other people as well. So I'm going to hand over to the podcast maestro. Anne, over to you.
Thank you, Jill. These are my favorite 2 hours of every month. I mean, and if you can't stay, we understand, but we're just saying, I never want to leave. It goes so fast. I don't know how to explain this. There's something about this group of people, amazing hearts for the world and for each other. And I just love this group so much. So happy to see several of you that I invited for sure. Mark, Jane, Deborah, Heather, etc. I will see you all as I'm on 2 screens here, so I can't see everybody, one screen. I'm on a laptop today. But we'll catch you as we go along. And and thank you so much just for being here, where we can share a little bit of time together. And Cyrus, I don't know where you're sitting, but I want to sit there because that looks like the best office ever. I love working outside, so way to go. Okie dokie. So I am going to get my PowerPoint getting ready for you. So yeah, as Jill said, my life has been a very interesting journey. I will let you go watch those other episodes. In the 2 to 4 sentence version is I basically grew up in the US in an extreme right-wing occult-like religious organization. Didn't go to a real school till I was 16, and stayed in that space for many years into my young adult life. In a way, it was a sitting duck. Ended up married to a person with sociopathic tendencies, and there's a lot of things that happened with that. And then went out to find myself once I found I had no meaning or purpose because all that I had been taught no longer seemed like it worked or was relevant. The journey that I've gone on since, which includes Hollywood. So after that lovely meditation, Alexandra, I just want to keep meditating. I don't want to goof around and talk about Hollywood, but that's what's in my presentation. So that's what you're going to get. And I use the Hollywood illustration for fun. Let me get this, if I can share my screen, one moment. All right. There we go. Okay. And when it's up, let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen? Okay, fantastic. Okay, this is me, Podcast Maestro. And I have this show, which I'll just introduce you really briefly now. It's a streaming show that I have weekly. Right now I'm doing a really interesting series on the Podcast Power Playbook. And we air on a multitude of networks, but USA Global TV, which is streaming TV, of course, YouTube, we stream live on multiple platforms and traditional podcast platforms as well. So you'll get more on that later. That's who I am. But the reason I talk about taking your podcast and making it a world-class one is because in Hollywood, you learn so many ways of how to go world-class. You learn the importance of, should we be so sad to have to say it, presentation, how people see you, what their perception is, whether they take you seriously. You don't have to be a movie star, but do you have a vibe that people say, ooh, I want to listen to that? It can be energy, it can be experience. There's so many ways. I'm just giving you a fun little example. You have to, whatever you do, you have to do it 100%. If you're playing the nun in doubt, you have to do it 100%. You cannot just say, go halfway. What's the point? It's a waste of time. I had a lot of fun in Hollywood, working there for over a decade, got to meet and work with some incredible people, and mostly just learned so much about myself, but also I was doing so much, not only in front of the camera, but behind the camera, that I learned a tremendous amount about how to produce and how to make a really positive impression, how to be a world-class show, which is what this is all about. So today I just wanted to share with you basically a chapter. Oh, did I press my start button? No. Okay, I'm going to do that now. Jill, I'm setting my timer because you know once I have fun. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm going to share a chapter with you from what my podcast Power Playbook series. And this one is about master your brand identity. And in this case, it applies to many areas of your business, but in particular, we're talking about a podcast. If you decide you want to launch a podcast, or if you already have one and you want to take it up a notch, then these are some clues for you. So one of the most important things is understanding your target audience, of course. And I find that when I'm working with my clients, this is one of the greatest areas of weakness for, I'm going to say 95%. There's that 5% who knows their avatar, if you will, your ideal target audience so well that they can create their product and service in such perfect alignment, there are no questions. But many people aren't. And a lot of us here in this room, myself included, are here to really make a difference in the world. And because of that, often we do a lot for free. We say, I want to help everybody. We want to spread the net wide. But what we don't realize is we're not doing ourselves any favors, because by not narrowing down enough, you're just one of many faces doing good in the world. So the point is, when you niche, which we all hate that word, I do kind of, I just hate buzzwords. When you have to niche out, it doesn't mean that all those other people are prevented from, say, watching your podcast. All it means is it's designed, let's say if your podcast was designed for the 5% that watch it, but you have captured those 5,000 people in that niche, and you're doing business with 50% of them at a given time, now that's valuable. The other 95% that benefit, that's great. This is where people, I think, misunderstand niche a lot. It is you create, who are the people you want to do business with specifically. You niche to them. You don't worry about, are there not enough other people coming? I mean, how often, seriously, are you laying in bed, scrolling through your phone, looking at Instagram, looking at YouTube, watching things that you never, ever thought you would watch because it just pops up? So lots of people will find out about you. So really quickly, what do you want to do with your podcast is identify your audience. And there's techniques for researching and understanding your listener. And some of you already have fabulous podcasts. Gina, of course, Jill, and others of you. So you may have already done this, but you need to really research and understand your target audience. Now, I do primarily video podcasting, but it can be audio as well. I think both is great. Anyone can listen to an audio podcast, but not everyone can watch. Wait, everyone can listen to a video podcast, but not everyone can watch an audio podcast. Okay, there. So you give people the most options you can. So first of all, identify and analyze similar podcasts. You listen to your competitors. This is the absolute #1 greatest source of information for you and holds the greatest number of clues. Look at their topics, look at their style, look at their guests. I'm not just talking about people in your general field. I'm talking about people as close to your specific niche as you can possibly find on a podcast. Those 10 people, read their reviews, read their comments, follow their podcasts on social media. What are their followers concerned about? What do they need more of? What do they like? Is there a subgroup within that group of followers that could really also want to, in addition, follow you because you niche out even more than the show they're watching now, or diversify in a different way? And, create audience personas. There are so many great tools for this. You can define your demographics. by using tools like Google Trends. Just pop over there, check it out. If you don't know it, you should know it. And just even by just getting on forums like Facebook groups and many of the online forums, you can learn so much about your audience or decide who you want your target audience to be and why. I had to cut today Vision and Purpose, which is another great segment, and it's going to actually air tomorrow on my podcast. So if you want to hear that, pop over tomorrow, you'll get the links. Because Vision and Purpose is also like your intention of the podcast. Is specifically, is it to make money? Is it to connect with certain kind of people? Is it strictly to provide value? What is your intention and purpose? And that will help you also really narrow down your audience. So also you can conduct surveys and polls for nothing or next to nothing. You can use SurveyMonkey, you can use Google Forms, and utilize all those social media polls. Any of the social media platforms that you are on, almost all of them offer polls anywhere from 1 to 4 questions in a post. And you can ask your followers that you already have questions, or you can email those polls from like SurveyMonkey or Google Forms to your email list, whatever your preferred communication style is. And join the forums like Reddit, Quora. Those are fun to browse, but they are undervalued research tools because you can accomplish so much understanding your target audience, identifying your niche just by engaging, asking questions, ask people in the feed about their preferences, ask them about their challenges, see what really is of concern to them. And use analytics tools. It's not hard. If that word scares you off, ask someone who likes to do it and watch them do it on their computer, share screens, right? You can conduct keyword research. You can use your social media analytics to identify what content is really engaging your current target group. And other key points is use surveys, feedback, analytics. I guess that was my review. All of those pieces will help you identify your audience. And this, again, is one of the weak points I find when most of my clients first work with me. They're all over the place. And to have a successful world-class podcast, you want to get it, you want to nail it right at the beginning. As someone who's done, I don't know how many podcasts now in my history, I'm currently doing 2 actively. And anyway, there's just always so many. You want to do it right from the beginning. Otherwise, it's an enormous investment of time and often money. And you want to make your outcome what you really want. Okay. So our second part today, and this is going to go pretty quick, is the elements of branding. This isn't a surprise. If you are a normal guest here on Collaboration Global, if you've worked with any of the other people in branding and marketing, or even me before, you understand how important your strong brand identity is. And you need to make sure that your branding elements are really cross-platform. You need to have a versatile logo that crosses your color scheme and everything else, not too specific. Sometimes I say people have their LLC, their business, their corp, whatever that is, they'll have a logo for that doesn't really reflect the purpose of their podcast. In fact, it can be confusing. If you have a logo with, I think this is a publisher, A Book and a Torch, which publisher is that? Anyway, but all you do is television or movie critiques, that's very confusing. So find a logo like this that says exactly what you're doing, contacting people, making podcasts, and airing podcasts. So make it really clear and try to be as universal as you can. Even your fonts matter. Again, this is more just general branding and marketing, but I'm going to give you some examples in a minute that will, visual examples that will help you understand this even more. Colors, themes, artwork, and your logo and branding. You really want them consistent. You want a real cohesive look and feel across your platforms. And so what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen again, one moment, to show you a few examples of strong, consistent branding. One moment. All right. Oh, I have multiple windows open. There we go. I still have my calendar open for just signing on. All right, there we go. All right, share. And go. Okay. All right. So Here is my website, for example. You can recognize how many elements are the same as the logo, which you see up here in the left-hand side, mostly yellow and blue with white, or in any combination of those. I call it gold, but blue and white with the gold accents. This is standard across my platforms. These are my colors. So you want to have that feeling when people come into your space, you want them to feel that they're in a comfortable spot where they already know you. So whether they're on your website, whether you're on LinkedIn, whether that you're on your social media, whether you're watching your podcast, you really want to wear the colors. No, I'm just kidding. Actually go with your brand. You don't have to dress to match, but I'm just saying it can be fun if that's something that's fun for you, right? So again, you see everything here, all the elements, all the way down to my hair and my clothes in this picture, right, is reflecting those color themes. Here's more blue, white, gold, right? So, and you can pop over to, oh, that's why that didn't work. Okay, I see now. I'm going to go to LinkedIn real quick because I closed that one out. Okay, so on LinkedIn, again, I mean, some of these graphics and images are different, but your color schemes are still the same. So people are always like, oh, I'm in the Anne Scottlin space. Yay! They become comfortable with that and it makes them feel at home. Even on Twitter, you know, it's much less format. And this is my, I think you're seeing my dark screen because like protect my eyes here. But again, surprisingly, you still see the blues, the yellows. Jane will recognize that picture, Jane McCarthy. And all of these colors, you know, pink is sometimes my like accent color. Again, it's just creating that consistency. And you see in the branding now, some of my podcasts, I do a different thumbnail each week, and sometimes I use the same one. Right now, I've been using the same one for Launch It. But you can go through and, you know, you just have that feeling, boom, I know where I am. If my thumbnail popped up and it was orange and green, you would be, where am I, right? Here's another podcast that I'm currently actively doing, which is Meta Mindstream and Meta Engagement, which is about mindset and also about HR. Again, you see the consistency around the colors. Okay, I'll go through this quickly. The Tim Ferriss Show. Most of you know the Tim Ferriss Show. And surprisingly, he's actually not wearing a blue shirt here when I grabbed this, but he's still wearing blue and yellow. There he is, blue, yellow, black, and white. Really simple, really straightforward colors. Basically, all his thumbnails look the same. That's intentional. On Twitter, he posts an image, but look, you still have the colors that grab you. Even though if it's blue jeans, it doesn't matter. You're like, oh yeah, I'm in the Tim Ferriss space, right? His original book that's been reprinted with the most recently reprinted version of 4 Hour Work Week is the new colors also. Blue, gold, white, maybe some orange accents. And his new book, well, one of his new books from 2017, Tribe of Mentors, which is a really great book. Again, blue, yellow, black. So you see how important that is. It's not just a cool logo or something for any one part of your brand or your podcast. It really needs to cross all of the boundaries and be consistent. Here he is, blue, blue, yellow. Whenever you see photo ops, take them. It's just fun. If you don't like taking pictures of yourself, I don't know, come up with an avatar or some other symbol that represents you and make it fun. Hold up your logo in front of the camera and get your color schemes. It's even when Tim is goofing around on Facebook, he's got his color schemes going here. Look, he's got the Van Gogh, he's got the yellow, the gold, and the blue. So that is just one example of, oh, and here's one more. Just how I built this with Guy Raz, huge in the US. I don't know if you guys listen to him too. NPR, just simple colors. Normal guy, basic logo. It's just gray, it's white, it's yellow. But across all the platforms, it's really the same. So let's see, did I stop screen? Yeah, I did. All right, just making sure. Am I still sharing my screen? Okay, hold on. Get out of here. All right, stop, there it is. It's hiding from me. Okay, so just to wrap up in summary, because my timer quit working. So Jill, I'm almost done. I don't know where I'm at. For your podcast, if you want a world-class podcast, which I often share how that can really help make you a thought leader in your field. You want to do it in a way, do it 100%, do it 100%, make it really worth your time and effort and really reach the people that you want to reach. You've been working your whole career to develop, to gain experience, to get credentials, and whatever that is, it's high time you were acknowledged for that. It's high time, if you have a message you want to share, you should be able to share it, and it can benefit your business, and you can monetize it. There's so many ways to monetize. Like I say, there's 16 ways to fry an egg. There's so many ways to monetize. It doesn't have to be just in one way, which everyone's like, oh, well, what if I can't get sponsors right away? What am I supposed to do? There's so many other ways. So I hope this has been useful, helping you understand the importance of your mission, your values, understanding your potential audience, and the elements of your branding. Again, my next episode, which is a lot of this again, but more. And I'm the repurposed queen, by the way. If you do podcasts or anything else in your business, don't do anything that you can't use at least 17 ways, because that's a good use of your time. So in the notes and later in the show, I know as well, you'll see the link to my podcast. You can always go to my website, annescottlin.com. Of course, I'm there on LinkedIn, where I've reached out to most of you already. And there'll also be a link that will come up probably later, which is a free gift. If any of you already have a podcast and you would like to get some advice on how to make it better, or if you've been thinking about having a podcast or know someone who would be amazing on a podcast, but they just don't feel like they have the time, I'm giving 20 free-minute consultation to any one of you, and you can just reach out to me anywhere you like, but even directly on my email, which is contact@annescottlin.com. So I hope this was of some value for you today, and thank you for being here.